This is the AppArmor and Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure Presentation by Zachary Stassa. The first topic we will be looking at is AppArmor. AppArmor is able to configure mandatory access control security on a Linux operating system such as Ubuntu. It comes pre-installed by default on the vast majority of Ubuntu systems. AppArmor can control what actions processes are allowed to take, making it a valuable way to prevent certain sabotage and attacks. AppArmor itself does not focus on things such as patching vulnerabilities, but instead it focuses on mitigating the damage that can possibly be done once vulnerabilities in something like an application are already exploited. AppArmor has two profile modes it can use to choose how to respond to violations that are important to take note of. One of AppArmor's profile modes is Complain, where violations are logged to alert personnel of violations and keep a record. The second profile mode is Enforce, where violation attempts are blocked. Now we will see what are some AppArmor hardening recommendations. The first hardening recommendation is to configure AppArmor to have the minimum amount of permissions needed for each application to accomplish its function, making it so applications like document viewers can only view documents and cannot perform actions such as executing code. This reduces the possibility of hackers taking advantage of and exploiting programs. The second hardening recommendation is to have the profiles running in enforce mode. It is important to make sure a profile is running in enforce mode when using AppArmor for regular security, since otherwise violations will not be prevented. For the last hardening recommendation, make sure profiles work by testing them out in Complain mode. Complain mode only logs violations that have taken place on the system, which is helpful for testing to see if violations are detected by AppArmor and logged before the profile is set into enforce mode to protect the system. The next topic is HTTPS. Hyper Transfer Protocol Secure is the secure version of HTTP that communicates data between websites and web browsers. HTTPS uses encryption to ensure a secure connection is established. HTTPS should definitely be used in connections involving login info or other sensitive data. HTTPS uses Transport Layer Security Protocol to keep information encrypted, and TLS uses asymmetric public key as its method of encryption, which works by the private key located on the web server, decrypting information that comes in by clients using a public key available to everyone. HTTP communicates information through plain text, so attackers who are able to intercept packets can easily read the information contained, while HTTPS packets can just as easily be intercepted, though the information inside is unreadable until it reaches the web server and is decrypted. Now we will talk about Internet Information Services. Internet Information Services is a Microsoft.NET web server used to configure HTTPS and process TCP port application messages. It is possible to get IIS to run on other operating systems such as Mac and Linux, though it is not reliable and unstable when not run on Windows. IIS has two modes, kernel and user mode. Kernel mode allows for any command to be executed with complete access to hardware. User mode does not have direct access to hardware, having to instead give commands to the hardware through APIs. Kernel mode carries greater risk to it since it is possible to damage systems with high-level hardware access. IIS also allows for useful features such as being able to log into different web apps automatically with its authentication options through a domain account, being able to filter traffic by using whitelists and blacklists, and the ability to manage it remotely. Some Internet Information Services hardening recommendations are: first, securing cookies through HTTP only, so applications cannot access them, providing better protection to HTTP data. Deleting the headers under the server and X powered by headlines to hide information about what server and what software and version you are using. There are some known vulnerabilities for software and specific software versions which hackers could exploit to attack the server. Hiding the software and version being used makes this valuable information more inaccessible to potential hackers. And using HTTP strict transport security to prevent hackers from packet sniffing to redirect traffic for interception. Forcing connections to only come through SSL with HTTP strict transport security will make traffic interception attempts from attackers automatically fail. The last topic is Apache Tomcat. Apache Tomcat has the ability to host a HTTP server on Linux that can run Java code, though it is cross-platform, so it can also run on Windows and Mac as well. Java server-side code is what is used to handle HTTP results and is able to take a website from having a static web page having static web pages to dynamic web pages that have a higher level of interaction with the user. Apache Tomcat helps in handling responses and requests involving the server. It is capable of listening to client requests, then loading servlet classes in response to the requests, executing the servlet classes, and then unloading it. It is able to have multiple web applications on multiple different ports. Apache has many distributions optimized for different tasks due to it being open source. Since it is open source, it is free to use. Apache Tomcat gets regular updates and bug fixes from its developers and supports secure socket layer for secure connections. A few Apache Tomcat hardening recommendations are refraining from running Tomcat on the root user as it creates too much unnecessary risk, deleting all test and sample web applications as they could contain vulnerabilities that could be exploited. Test and sample web applications usually are installed by default, and it is not mandatory that they be removed, but their possible vulnerabilities open up an unnecessary vector of attack hackers can use. Locking down the shutdown procedure to prevent hackers from shutting down the service, though if the shutting down the service needs to be utilized for legitimate purposes, then it should be secured with a strong password. And here are the references with the end of the presentation.